The elections are important because they elect the European Parliament, the only direct elected European institution. They play a very important role in European policy making. They are our main legislative body. So a fair, free election and with the strong engagement of the population is really important. And we are living now in a difficult time for Europe. We are still in some way in crisis, certainly in some of our member states. We overcame the Eurozone crisis. We won the battle for the euro, but still there are remaining problems and huge challenges. So in that climate of difficulties, of anxieties, of fear, people tend to blame Europe, and the European elections will take place in that rather Euro-negative climate. Europe is not the problem, Europe is the solution. Imagine the crisis, the financial crisis, without the stability of the Eurozone. We would have had devaluations or revaluations of all kinds, and the common market will not have been sustainable in that period. But overall, the European project is still a project of peace and of democracy. When you see the European flags waving at Maidan in Kiev, then those people, they have no hesitations about Europe. They know that prosperity, democracy, the rule of law is anchored in the European values. They are longing for European values and for being part, one day or another, of the European club, to have that European perspective. When I see that in Serbia and in the former Republic of Yugoslavia, all the countries, of almost all the countries, are candidate country, joining the European Union, or are ready to be a candidate for the European Union, then it's also clear, because they have a past of civil war, of genocide, it's also clear that Europe is still a project of peace and a project of democracy. Populism is a much broader movement than only a movement related to the European Union. In some of our member states, even in my own country, we had populist parties, even extremist parties, even racist parties, long before the financial crisis, long before the crisis of the Eurozone. So it is not only related to Europe. Of course, the crisis helped to, let's say, to put the focus on Europe, wrongly so. But a lot of people did. So our answer is, first of all, explaining what Europe really is, because there are a lot of misunderstandings. Then explaining also that we are underway to overcome the crisis. We have now better perspectives than a year ago. And if needed, for those countries who consider peace and democracy as self-evident, we have to show the examples of other countries, and I mentioned Maidan, that is not evident at all, that there is always a threat to democracy and to peace. And so the European Union is still relevant for the younger generations.